Hello everybody, I'm Angry Slowbro. Welcome back to another video. I've been playing a lot more Shadowrun recently, and I've been playing a lot of random battles, catching up with doubles, and the odd singles match here and then. And after playing against a stall team, which lasted over 300 turns, it made me think about certain Pokemon which I absolutely despise. Certain Pokemon are so annoying to go against, and I hate so much battling against, that it makes me feel like I could throw my entire computer setup through a wall. So, I decided that I could rant and try and talk the anger out through a tier list. As you can see, the bottom one here is just for Pokemon that I consider to be generally annoying. Next up is Sigh every time I see them, so a little bit worse. Please Leave is just Pokemon that I do not like playing against, and I would appreciate if you just left the game. Saves us all a bit of time. Gel Time, self-explanatory, and then Electrical Chair plus Lethal Injection, and a Public Hanging. To be honest, that is quite light for what I believe that these Pokemon deserve if you use them. We'll go through each tier from the bottom up. The first of which is fairly easy to get through, Pokemon that are just generally annoying. Every time I see a Retire, I know someone's going to try and do this Endeavor plus Quick Attack. It's not good, it's not particularly skillful, it's just annoying. Shedinja's another one. Shedinja's not the best Pokemon in the world, but it's just inconvenient going against it. You have to have a Pokemon with a weakness, or you have to try and burn it. I then put Spidops in here, and typically, not just Spidops, but any mon that has Sticky Webs. Sticky Webs is just annoying, it's just inconvenient, again. Next up is Tinglu. This Pokemon, more particularly in doubles, is just an annoying, again, time-consuming, you're just there. Because the combination of Veslo of Ruin plus Snarl is just annoying. It's not a Pokemon that particularly takes skill to use, it just exists and it's annoying. Also one of the most mid-legendaries and part of one of the most mid-legendary groups. To be honest, Scarlet is just a bit mid in general for legendaries. And then we have in DD, and particularly in DD Female, Pokemon that have Follow Me are typically annoying, but Indeedee more annoying than most because of just the fact that it has Psychic Surge. But preventing priority with Psychic Terrain, Pranksters, stuff like that is just kind of annoying, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world to deal with. Now, I know there's definitely a lot more Pokemon that would fit the category of just generally annoying, but for the list for today and for the list that I put together, these are just who I've put in there for now. Next on we move on to this tier, which is just slightly worse than this. I feel like most people would probably agree. First up is Cleffa. Now particularly Cleffa and not Clefairy, because Cleffa's whole purpose is support in doubles. Now partially the reason why I sigh, and I'm more annoyed than seeing the Clefairy, is because of the fact that it's a Cleffa. I also have a little bit of a past grievance and grudge against this Pokemon because every time in a Dynamax raid in Sword and Shield, this thing would do absolutely nothing to help the team. Next up, Smeargle. Now, I personally like Smeargle. I think it's a cool Pokemon, but I do sigh every time I see it because whether it's singles or doubles, I know I'm getting Sticky Webs, Mortal Spawn, Spore, anything like that, Katao Cleaved. It's just inconvenient. It's very good and very random, but it doesn't have any offensive output, so that's probably why I put it around here. Next up, again, is probably a general consensus, is Blissey. Especially this thing is one of the most bulkiest, if not the bulkiest thing to exist. But saying that, it has no physical defense, it just has very good HP. Next up, I've put Amoonguss and mostly like any Spore Mon, or Mons that have Spore. Sleep is the most fucking annoying condition. It's RNG based a lot of the time, but Spore being guaranteed more or less, it's just so fucking annoying. Like Frostbite and Freeze is so rare that you never really account for it anyway. Whereas Sleeping is one thing that sometimes you account for with like safety goggles, but more often than not you don't, and in singles it is so annoying. Next up in this is Glimmora. This is one of my least favorite Pokemon from Scarlet. I think it is the weirdest fucking design. It looks like someone's got a turtle head coming out of their backside, but it's become a bit sharp. I hate Glimmora in general, but it's even more annoying playing against it. Toxic Debris is an amazing ability, and then on top of regular spikes, stealth rocks, it's just a extremely major inconvenience, and the fact that it can be offensive with Meteor Beam is even more annoying. The one caveat to it is that it does have a quad weakness, being ground, which is a fairly common type, so it's not as high as the rest of these, but I do not like this Pokemon. I will say Hazestack is one of the most unintelligent and brain-numbing archetypes. Not the most, but I'll get onto that. This next one, some people would probably have this Pokemon higher. I'm going to have it here because beginners are a very good Pokemon. Very annoying to play against. Steel Fairy is a great typing. It's so bulky, incredibly good ability, incredibly good signature move. This Pokemon is just broken. But I do feel like, again, with some of the Pokemon on this list, this Pokemon has been power crept over time, making it not as annoying to play against. But particularly in like the ZAOU pet mod, Mega Megaina is... it's fucking ridiculous. Now as we move on to this next tier, you're going to see a bit of a common theme. The first of which being Umbreon. Umbreon isn't as much as some of these other Pokemon, but a lot of Umbreon sets just consist of Wish plus Protect plus Toxic, which is one of the most skillless sets of any Pokemon that anyone can do. It's not enjoyable, there's no fun in it whatsoever for either side, and the fact that people have to resort to it sometimes says to me that maybe there's a lack of skill there. Next up is Gligar. As you can see, the common theme is showing up here. Poison Heal plus the typical set with Protect is so fucking annoying. Made a Pokemon so cool in design, so fucking annoying to play against. Genuinely, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Stall is the most unintelligent. I'm probably going to say that about 50 times. I fucking hate Stall. And imagine going against 6 of these fucking bastards. Exactly. Again, in this tier, Cresselia, is for similar reasons why Umbreon and Gliscor are. This Pokemon is typically known for Stall, Thunder Wave, Moonlight, the move where it kills itself and gives someone full health. It's just very, very annoying. Next up is Dondozo, a Pokemon from Gen 9. Now, I can't speak for everyone, because in doubles, I haven't experienced as much Dondozo as I think a lot of other people did. Thankfully, I understand how annoying this Pokemon was, and how bulky this thing was. I speak from a place of going against Stall sets in singles. I guess, in a way, this tier is just for the lackeys of a Stall team. Next up is Talonflame. Now, modern Talonflame is completely ass, and that's also partially the reason why he's in C tier. Firstly, post or prime Talonflame in Gen 6 was one of the most picked Pokemon. Gale Wings was an incredible ability. You could use it offensively with Brave Bird and Tailwind, which made it incredibly annoying to go against, but part of the reason why this Pokemon is in this tier is because I fucking hate Talonflame and I hate using it. Anytime I get Talonflame in singles battles, or if I'm playing against my mate, or even if I for some reason decide to pick Talonflame, it is always shit. I will stand on this comment that Talonflame is one of the most overrated Pokemon from a design point of view and from a public rating point of view. I do not get why this Pokemon is so popular. And if you disagree, you will be arguing with a brick wall, because there is not a single piece of commentary or evidence or whatever that will make me change my mind on this Pokemon. Next up, we're moving on to Gel Time. If you use this Pokemon, you need to really consider your life choices. The first of which is Suicune. Most people will understand that this Pokemon, whilst is considered to be a cool Pokemon, good god is it fucking annoying. Singles, even doubles to an extent, like random battles is where I mostly come across Suicune, and back in the day, Suicune used to be more annoying with typical just Stall sets. Toxic, Rest, Protect, Sub, or Scald. Now more people run it offensively with Calm Mind, but Sub Calm Mind with its natural bulk is still incredibly fucking annoying. I think it's the worst of the legendary dogs, and the fact that it makes me want to kill myself every time I play against it does not help it. And for that reason, I think this Pokemon deserves Gel Time. At least 12 years. Next up is Dracovish. Now, those who know, Dracovish in his prime was like Victor Wembanyama in his rookie season. This Pokemon came out the gates in Sword and Shield and became one of the most offensive threats It was like prime Michael Jordan was on your team. This Pokemon had everything. An amazing typing Water Dragon, and this was even before Terra. You support this Pokemon with Gigantamax. Oh my god. Has one of the most broken and physically strong signature moves in Fisher's Rend. Doubles in damage, if quicker. You pair it with a Choice Scarf, or even a Choice Band in like Tailwind plus Sticky Webs. Or with the most broken mechanic of G-Max flying, and you raise your speed. This thing one-shot pretty much everything. You had to be physically bulky and resist it. The reason why it's not higher up is because over the years it's slowly been more and more power crept with Pokemon from Scarlet particularly, and even like DLCs. And next up is Pawmot, because I hate Pawmot. Next up is one I think most people could agree on, and to be honest is actually an honourable mention for this tier, is Garganical, and particularly a stall set of Garganical. There are more and more offensive sets nowadays with like Iron Defense plus Body Press, so that's not as annoying to go against, but Purifying Salt Terra Ghost with Recover plus Salt Cure is so frustrating to go against, and people that have played Radical Red will understand how much of a bitch Salt Cure can be. You want to use Water types, you want to use Steel types who are normally good against Garganical? No. You're losing more health than you're probably doing damage. Another prime example of why Stall is completely fucking brain numbing. Next up is Mousehold, and again most people agree this Pokemon is a fucking nuisance. From a design standpoint, I get it, I like it, it's cute, it's a mouse, cool. But it has one of the most mind-boggling signature moves in Population Bomb. What do you mean that I can get a stab move which can hit up to 10 times, which only has 90% accuracy, so it's not even that low. It has Technician, and it also gets access to an A or S tier setup move in Cleanup or Sweep Up, whatever the fuck it is. This one-shots almost everything with Population, or 10 shots more appropriately. Any Pokemon that isn't bulky or doesn't resist it. And I think the thing about Mousehold which pisses me off the most is how long that move takes. There's nothing more demoralizing than sending your Pokemon out, this Pokemon then comes out, uses Population Bomb, the move takes about 10 fucking hours, and then my Pokemon dies. All because of this tiny family of 4. God damn! Now finally for this tier, there's a Pokemon that I'm sure people would not be expecting, Galarian Cassola. And I say that because I am probably the only person that I've ever seen to ever use this Pokemon in National Dex or in general. And I will say, you should only ever use this against people if you're trying to piss them off or trying to piss off the ladder. With an Eviolite, this Pokemon can have between 350 and 450 in its defense and special defense, depending on your stat spread, a decent health stat of around 320, and the ability to destroy and pick apart physical and special attackers. Pure Ghost is a fairly decent typing, defensively and offensively. With Strength Sap, yes, Strength Sap plus Will-O-Wisp, and then Hex to do decent damage, you just destroy physical attackers. And then Hex plus Mirror Coat destroys special attackers because this thing doesn't die and it's more specially bulky. And it's more demoralizing the fact that it's this Pokemon which is just so small and so cute and seems so insignificant, and yet it's not. And I would even make a case to say it's one of the best unevolved mons to ever exist. Now finally, we're on to the final tier. There's 3 Pokemon in this tier. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about who you would personally put here, and I would like to put it in the comments down below, because if we agree on more than one, there's clearly something wrong. The first of which is probably fairly obvious. One of the most powerful and scary offensive threats is Shadow Rider Calyrex. Now, the reason why this thing pisses me off more than most Pokemon is because for an offensive Pokemon, this thing takes no skill. If you have this in your team, you should be incredibly disappointed and probably just uninstall Shadowrun, even though it isn't really an app, it's a website, and never play again, because this thing is so broken in doubles and singles, has one of the most incredibly powerful signature moves. The only caveat to it is that it has a bad typing. If it comes in and gets a kill, gets the as 1 boost, you're pretty much just losing. And as well, I'll be honest, design-wise, it's just fucking mid. Calyrex's big fat heads on the background as well. Next up is Miraidon. This is definitely my second most hated Pokemon, purely for the fact that, again, similar to Calyrex, it is skillless, it is just a broken Pokemon, but it is like Calyrex on steroids. This Pokemon has no faults whatsoever. A top 5 ability, right, which has no drawbacks whatsoever, a box art stat total, incredible coverage, you can pivot, you can set up, it has everything. There is not a single drawback to this Pokemon, especially with Terra. And in singles and doubles, there is not a reliable Pokemon that deals with it in any shape or form. You have to have setup, you have to be guaranteed to one-shot it, or you have to be so bulky that you have to force this thing to swap out or reduce its stats. I can't tell you how many times I have just left games online in doubles because Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam, Choice Specs just beats everything. And again, if you lose with this thing on your team, you are fucking shit. Now, finally, I could make an entire video on why I hate this Pokemon. Toxapex is my least favorite Pokemon in terms of every single Pokemon, not just from a competitive viability or just playing against them. I hate this Pokemon. And it's all because of its existence. It is a Pokemon that is specifically designed for the most brain-numbing, intellectually molested, torturous stall set with Toxic, Baneful Bunker, Recover, with Regenerator. It doesn't fucking die, and your Pokemon just try to do damage and they slowly lose their health over time. There is not a single ounce of skill in this Pokemon whatsoever. And with Terra, you want to go Psychic move or a Ground move or an Electric move, you just go Terra Grass and you're fine. This thing is so fucking bulky in all areas, and it has a really good defensive typing in Water Poison. There isn't anything you can do. And when a game lasts over 300 turns and over like 45 minutes, and 2/3 of those turns are because of one singular Pokemon, there is something wrong. Even from a design point of view, this Pokemon is fucking ugly. It looks like a conker has been cut in half, and the little ball bag that's at the back of your throat is just its face now. And even though I've said it a million times, any person that uses a Pokemon like Toxapex, and particularly Toxapex, in any format, you need to take a real hard look at yourself. I know there are certain people or certain YouTubers that love this Pokemon. I am going to hold myself back. There's not a single fun offensive set with this Pokemon. Maybe Whirlpool or Venoshock. That's literally it. This Pokemon has nothing good going for it. It is bottom of the barrel. Your wife's divorced you, you've lost the house, you've lost the kids, you've lost all your money gambling. That's what would have to happen to me to resort to using this Pokemon. I would not be caught dead otherwise. But that's it. I know it's not a lot of Pokemon, and there definitely are more that would fit into a lot of different categories on this tier list. And if you would like to see another part to this, then please do comment that down below. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, AngrySlowBro, and subscribe to my other channel, AngrySlowBro. There's AngrySlowBro Plus, I believe this is going on. And drop down in the comments who you would put in each of these tiers, or if you would change this, if you agree with this, if you completely disagree with this, which if you do, I don't know what games you've been playing. With that being said, I've been your AngrySlowBro, and I'll see you in the next one.